Hello everyone, the Penguin9 here, and welcome. Hi. Hello everyone, the Penguin9 here, and welcome back today to another video on Paladins. Today's video is going to be a little different. Today we are going to be looking back to my first video that I ever uploaded on Paladins, and see what has changed between that patch and this patch. So let's get straight into that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start out with is the main screen. When you would first log in, everything is completely different here. Colors different where everything is placed. Where you would, the play and stuff is up along the top in the old version. Now it's along that side, as you can see in the pictures. The party spot is different. It's down in that little corner. Tells you how many people is in your party and your friends. It's over there. Now it's over on the other side. Where you can see your account level and stuff is the top corner instead of the bottom corner now. Settings has been switched around. It's really changed a lot. Just looking back. We were on patch 19, by the way. Closed beta 19. So you can go back and look in the patch notes for that. I will leave a link to it down in the description. So on to the next part of this. Okay, now on to the play menu. It's a lot different in the old one from the new one. The old one has just had the practice co-op, the capture and siege, payload, and then survival. The new one, there's a second menu you can go through, but there's the casual ones, which is the competitive, not competitive, the capture and the payload, and the test map and survival is all under casual. Then there's competitive, which is only the capture and siege. Then there's custom now, which used to be completely different, and then training, which is practice basically, with some added stuff in the newer versions. So that's really all. So on to the next part. Okay, this next one is after you've grown up, you would see this. It hasn't changed really too much. There's still the 10 crystals. They've just changed the colors of it a little bit. They've widened it a little bit. Not really too much has changed there. So, on to the next part. Okay, this next part is completely different from what it used to be, as you can see on screen. But the old one, it's the champion select screen when you get into the match. It's completely different. There used to only be 12 champions. Kinessa had just recently been added, the previous patch before this. It's amazing to just see how much it's changed. There's now 26 different champions. Used to be there was no classes. There was no frontline class or support class. They all still had about the same abilities that they do now, but the layout's still completely different. Both teams are on the one side instead of being separated. There was a lot more time. The champion select lasted for 30 seconds, but then customization was for like a minute and a half. And then it would start in like 15 seconds. It used to be a really long wait. So, but that's this. So let's get to the actual meat and potatoes of this, the actual match. Oh, and one quick little thing. It used to be that you would select 2 decks before you even got into the match. One would be a common deck, it's like the items are now. So it would up your stats, like give you Cauterize or Shield Wrecker or stuff. And then the champion deck what your regular deck would be now, except it's a bit different, which we will be getting into later. So now we can actually get into the match. Okay, this is what it used to look like loading up into the match. It's completely different. The background art's about the same. It's basically exactly the same. They need to change that. But there's the 5 champions on the top, 5 champions on the bottom. They weren't on the sides like they are now. There was no little quirk about Ruckus bringing out the big puns, and there was no little telling you when they were loaded in. But now we can actually get into the match. I know I've been holding out on you for so long. Okay, now we're finally into the match. This would be the first thing you would do. You would upgrade one of your cards in the old game. Now it would just be you pick your deck and your legendary. Back then you would usually upgrade your legendary card first because it would upgrade the main stats. The Mega Turret legendary, which I had in the old one, made it so the turret couldn't miss and did more damage. Now the Architectronics, which is the legendary I pick up now, makes it so it does more damage and can't miss. But now it has a 3-second faster cooldown. Used to be the turret has like a 30-second cooldown, and you could only have one up if you picked the Mega Turret. So that's the beginnings of the match. There was no items you would pick up like you do in the new game, because you would be upgrading you'd have the other loadout which I mentioned earlier. Okay, now we're right outside the attacker's door. This is how it used to look, and this is how it looks now. You can see them both on screen right now. There used to be, as you can see up in the top left corner, there was a teleporter. It was a beacon. If one of your teammates could bring it out of the base and place it anywhere on the map, you could walk into it when you got back to when you respawned, you could walk into it, and after a short delay, you would teleport to it. The enemies could destroy it, any teammate could move it, and it's been removed since. Used to be also, there was either an attacking team or a defending team. That's what you would be on. So these people, we were defending, trying to stop them from pushing the payload in this match. In the new one, you attack and defend, so it gives you a better chance of winning. Now we can look down at the lower left-hand corner, the health. It's been changed a lot. Barracks health has been up by 1,350 since that patch. It's been gradually over time. They've changed damage. You can look, there's the Mega Turret in front. Now, in the new patch, I have the TF2 barrack skin equipped, so that's why it looks a bit different. There's the 2 turrets I can have now. The only one Mega Turret. See, there's a 23-second cooldown on the turret because I had just placed it down. Used to be you could mount up at any time, which is a great feature in my opinion. I'm still waiting for Black Dragon to fulfill his promise. You know your promise, Black Dragon. Fulfill it. But there was the barricade, which came up faster, or it lasted longer from what I can remember. The sprint was about the same. The animation was a little different. You could see your team's health like you can in the new one. You couldn't see their ultimate charge though. The ammo is a lot different. Now it's 6, and you used to have like 8 ammo. I didn't count it before. Down the lower right-hand corner is your champion deck in the old one, your items in the new one, and also saying the name of your loadout. So let's also look at this other part of this payload map. There was a corridor right here, which has been since removed. There's the mini map also, which we didn't cover right there. But they removed this because there was too much. You could move too much through here. Because it used to be you could come right back through instead of having to go up and around. In my opinion, I like this better. We also forgot to look at where the skills are. It was a bit different. They curve up now into where the ultimate is. It's not that different really. And also where the horse is now, it shows your weapon. So let's get on to the next part of this. Okay, in the new one, they have a thing called a top play. Shows off the best play of this game in their algorithm's opinion. So, Victor got it in this game. It was actually a pretty good top play. But now we're gonna get onto the screen. The screen. Okay, now we're on the victory screen, or defeat if you would have lost, but we won both these matches. This has changed a lot. The time of the first one was a lot shorter because there was only one push, not both teams pushing. You would get a lot more gold. Also, since we're here, there's the best in class screen, which is where it would start out in the new game. The old one, there was no best in class. Now, then there's the rewards. The reward screen is different. It also gives you your accolades, which is about the same as the old one. It tell you what you got. And then there's the other screen, the scoreboard. It has changed a whole lot here. There's a lot less KOs in the old one. They weren't eliminations. My entire team died barely any in that game. I don't really know how, but I only died once in that old game. I died 7 times in the new one. I got 22 eliminations in the new one, 10 in the old one. There's the leveling system. Every time you level up, you get to upgrade your card, as stated before. It doesn't really tell about shielding, or it tells damage, but it's just a rough damage. It doesn't tell objective time. You can add and report players. That's really and the loadout. The loadout thing is really changed. You used to be able to see what the enemy and your entire team was using as a loadout after the game. But that, I don't know why they've removed that. They really should add that back. It still gave match ID. It didn't tell you if it was payload or siege. But that's all that's changed here. So, on to the next part. Okay, this next part here, it's the champion screen. It's changed a bit. As stated before, all the features of the new one and old one. But the amount of champions has changed. The background has changed. It used to tell you your level here and how much experience until the next level up and what you would get, and out of your collection of all the cards. It doesn't tell you that anymore. It now tells you the mastery you have on each champion right below them. The arts style of all the champions has changed. And then we can look into one of the champions. I have Fernando here. That was just one I looked at in my old video. And I have Barrick now. They have completely changed this here. They have the appearance and skills on the old one. Appearance is just the weapon skin and the body. I didn't have any skins in the old one. The new one, they have the head, the body, the weapon, the emote, the voice pack, the VMP pose, and the spray, or MVP pose. That's really it. Oops. But all the things have changed. Decks were under a separate thing. You can change your loadout here now, but then it's Cassie. I got Cassie too, and then the Grover. All the things are about the same. Then you can look under the skill tab. Grover used to be a melee champion back in that patch. Back in those days, Black Dragon only played Grover, so he has Grover up to like level 18 mastery now. And I still like looking back when I was only level 15. But that's really all that's changed so far. They're adding new features all the time. There was the crafting menu back then. I don't have any real pictures of that, but back in the crafting menu you could craft cards out of gold, I'm pretty sure. And then they added a crafting essence back then, and then they removed that after a while. I don't know why. Then they just brought it back recently as essence. So that's what has changed. They also used to have an old chest back then. If I can find a picture of it, I'll put it up. If I can't, then I'm sorry. But it was a champion chest. You would get 1 card out of it for a specific champion. Radiant chest gave you 7 cards, I'm pretty sure. So they've changed a lot. But that's a basic overview of what has happened in the last 30 patches, of what visually has changed. I could get into details of how much damage they did and how that's all changed. So like Androxus used to only do like 750 with his ultimate. It was actually just upped in that patch to do 750. But that can be saved for another video if you guys want to see that. So if you want to see that, leave it down in the comments. Down in the description I have some videos They're not my videos, they're of other people. They recorded other earlier patches. I have a video, there's a video down there all the way back to closed beta 13, or is it, I think it's actually closed beta 11. So there's a few down there. If you want to, you can go check that out. One last thing before I end the video. Does anybody remember Ruckus's old ultimate? It's been, if you remember it, leave it down in the comments. It's been a few patches back. So if anybody remembers that, leave it down in the comments. I'd love to see how many old players we got. So that's going to be all for today, though. I'd like to thank you all for watching. And as always, have a good one.